I'm going to call to order our work session of the Ware County Board of Commissioners of Monday, September the 28th, 2020 at 3 o'clock p.m. Begin with a roll call vote of commissioners, beginning with Commissioner Pope.
Present.
Commissioner Burse.
Present.
Commissioner Carter.
Present.
Commissioner Barnard.
Present.
And the chair is present. Let the record show, Mr. Manager, all commissioners are present and accounted for. Stand for the invocation I've asked Commissioner Burse to do, and the Pledge of Allegiance by Commissioner Barnard. So stand, please.
Father God, in the name of Jesus, Lord, we thank you, O God, for this day. We ask, God, that you will bless us as we deliberate the business of this county and the people that will be affected and impacted by it. But thank you, Lord, for how you bless this community in so many wonderful ways, even in the midst of this pandemic, Lord. We thank you. And Father, we pray, God, you just continue to bless us, continue to let us stay before you, oh God, because you are the author and the finisher of our faith, and without you, we can do nothing. So we thank you, Lord. We bless you, and we ask, God, that you would just continue to bless this community. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Join the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I'd like to thank everybody for coming. We got some special guests with us today. We've got Ms. Meyer from the Waycross Journal-Herald, so faithful to come and report our meetings, and Ms. Jennifer Herzog, our attorney. We thank you for being here. And all the rest, we got employees and our new chairman-elect. Thank him for coming. So we'll get started right into our meeting, work session. We got some folks on the agenda here. I'm gonna let Miss Cindy Payne come first. Miss Cindy, you got 5 minutes.
Thank you guys for allowing me to be here. And I've never done this before, so bear with me. If I do anything I shouldn't or whatever, just correct me. My name is Cindy Payne. I live at 550 Elmer Thrift Road in Waycross, out in the county. And the main reason that I'm coming today is because I've been having ongoing issues since I moved out there in around November 2018, because I had to, because I lost my home due to black mold, lost a lot of stuff, lost a lot of property, moved into my son's property. I couldn't move in a lot of my stuff because of the mold. It either had to be thrown away or washed, so I had to leave it outside under the carpet, under the porches. So when I got out there, it was just a zoo, to be quite honest. There was so many dogs, so many cats, chickens, roosters, pigs, goats. They're eating the lemon trees I planted. It was just chaos. So for a couple of months, I just prayed about things. And then at the beginning of 2019, I began to approach each neighbor, hoping they wouldn't get mad, but they did, got defensive and stuff. So I'm dealing with the neighbor across the street. That's another issue, court. This issue right here is with the neighbors behind me, and I got a map of like where the properties are laid out. And it seems like these folks always want to put all their animals on our property line, away from their house, so they don't hear all the barking and all the stench and everything, to be quite honest. I've never complained about the stench or nothing, but these folks keep being hateful and mean, and they told me don't text me anymore, don't talk to me anymore. So I'm left with no options but to come and express what I need. I've looked through the ordinances, the Ware County ordinances, and today we'll talk about the nuisance laws because I'm dealing with the other stuff with a magistrate. But these folks here, they say they put bark collars on them, and they don't. They've got all kinds of hounds and I guess beagles, I don't know what you call them, bloodhounds. They've got lots of animals over there in one small little place. And I told them, I said, look, I've never complained about the stench. It's really awful out here, but the barking day and night, I can't take it. I'm sleep deprived. I'm turning into an irritable person. I'm a realtor, so I got a really demanding job, and I may be midnight still working. So I can't reason with any of them. They're being irresponsible, disrespectful, flat out hateful. They've come over, cussed me out, pulled up my property lines and things like that. So I'll deal with that later. Charles Tomlin's already been out and pinned the corners, and these people we're talking about today, they're called the Hardens. They keep plucking them up. But in the laws, in the ordinance here, you know, there's nuisance laws, you can't allow your dogs to continue to bark, to continue to be a nuisance. They pretty much pinned them up where they don't come over all the time like they used to. They still do every now and then, but this barking day and night, I have to sleep. And I thought, you know, on the property where I dwell, I need to have peace. I'm the quietest person out there. There's no partying, there's no loud music, there's no nothing. You don't see a peep out of me. But I have all these trouble with all these neighbors. According to the ordinances, it says that you have to have 2 other neighbors to provide a written affidavit of the same problem. That's not going to happen because it's this neighbor who's mad with me because they're going to court for the 3rd time next month. Then there's this neighbor who said he would help, but he won't because he's friends with the neighbor whom I'm having the issue with. So they are my neighbors, you know what I mean? And so I don't know what it takes to get a law amended. I did notice for the first time in here that it says if you can't get 2 neighbors, there can be some kind of, let me see how it was worded. Well, basically to provide evidence. And that's my thing. I've been recording, I've been documenting, I've been videoing to have to be able to provide the proof to do what we need to do with these folks, all of them out there. But these right here, I've been recording. In fact, I emailed Schubert the recordings the other day of those constantly barking dogs. So maybe for somebody like me who is the peaceful person out there, I don't know what it takes to get laws amended, but I'm sure there's other folks probably having the same problem. But it's a lot of work to do all this stuff all the time. On top of I'm single, I have a lot of responsibilities, grandmother, demanding job. It's hard to constantly document, record, and all that, and you know. So maybe the law could be amended to say, if you want it to say 2 people, written affidavits, fine. But if that is not available and someone like me is willing to go through the trouble to record and provide proof, because isn't that what it's all about, is just providing the evidence that this thing is going on, then maybe that can happen so somebody like me can have peace on my property. Not be, my sister was like, why don't you just move? That's not an option. If it was, I would, you know, but it's not. But I am peaceable and kind to everyone out there. I've not been ugly except for when this particular one approached me using profanity and talking ugly one day, and I sent him back home to his property. But I don't like being that person. I'm asking for help, and I've been asking for like 1.5 years to almost 2 years, and I really would I'd like to see what can be done. Because like I said, if we don't have 2 people to sign for something like this nuisance law, then there has to be some kind of remedy to help me. And they will go on all night long. I've called deputies before 4 a.m. in the morning because they went on and on. Deputy Nolan just came out last week. They were still barking that day. They barked all day and all night for almost a week. And he witnessed that, and they told me not to call him or text him long back. I said, so let me make sure what you're saying is you would rather me call the law or whoever than to try to deal with you peacefully, and you cause your animals to quiet down. Now, I know they're going to bark if an owner comes up or a rabbit comes by or feeding time. I get that. I'm not unreasonable. But this is day in and day out. And now the stench out there is awful, really bad. So I wasn't ever going to say anything about that before, but I'd like to now, simply because I'm here.
And you filed complaints with
I've called
James?
I've called them several times about it, but I was dealing with more important issues with the folks across from me. So that's being dealt with. So now I'm handling this one. So like I said, I just emailed Schubert the voice recordings, several of them, of the dogs continually barking. I haven't done anything officially in writing, if that's what you're asking. I can, and I will. But I didn't know what the next step is.
Madam Attorney, do you want to give us some insight of
Well,
what?
Mr. Chairman, I'll be honest, this is the first that I've heard of it today,
Yeah,
so I
that's the
hadn't
first we've heard it.
I hadn't had a chance to study on it. But what I'd like to do is, study on what ordinances Ware County has in place currently, and have a written complaint so that we can compare, exactly what the issues are versus, what the remedies are in the ordinance, and then we can bring this back before the commission and make a recommendation. But I will go ahead and say, just so we're all on the same page, is generally there's a lot of issues about dog barking. That can be something that can be frustrating for neighbors, but whether that rises to the level of a nuisance, that would be something we would have to look into. So I don't know that your ordinance will address that in the way that Ms. Payne wants it, but certainly we'll be glad to take a look at it.
Ms. Cindy, give us some time in our legal counsel and our
Yeah, and
manager.
I'll get with Mr. Schubert on it and we'll
Okay.
look at it.
Thank you. I
Yes,
appreciate it
ma'am.
very
And
much.
like I say, it's the first time we've seen you. You say it's been going on for 2 years?
Well, like I said, when I lost my home, I lost it due to black mold. I had all of that to deal with. I had leg burns, injuries, head injuries. It was one thing after another. So I was trying to talk with people.
No.
So the more important things had to come first, which was these other neighbors whose dogs were urinating,
Health
defecating.
always.
Yeah,
comes
urinating, defecating, dragging my stuff off, tearing my stuff, and I had to record a lot of videos just to be able to get those folks to court.
Right.
And it's like you can't reason with unreasonable people. They just want to fight and argue, and that I don't want that. I can't do that, and I'm not going to do that. So that's why I'm not faulting anyone here today, because, like I said, I've had so much going on. I can only get to certain things at a certain time. And Schubert's been working with me on the other folks, and I think we about got that handled next month. So now it's to tackle all this other stuff.
Just give us some time with our legal counsel, and they'll get back with you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner, y'all want to ask her anything? Okay. All right,
Your
our
decision.
next one on the agenda is Mr. Russell Lee. Come up. State your name and address for the record.
I reckon I got 5 minutes too.
Yes, sir, 5 minutes.
Everybody got the same thing. 5 minutes.
Well, give or take a minute or two.
Okay. Well, good evening, commissioners. What I'm up here about is this has been going on since '94, 26 years. 26 years with the county. And I don't believe you was chairman then, Jim.
No, I don't think so.
But anyway, I live on Harley-Mixon Road in Waresboro.
Know exactly where you live.
Okay, the road department sent a young guy out there to clean the ditch out, is what the road department manager at that time told me, to clean that ditch out on Harley-Mixon Road, on my side of the road.
Uh-huh.
So instead of cleaning it out, he dug a canal. And I got a chain link fence that runs from my driveway all the way to the creek, which is about 500 feet. Cox Creek.
Runs north.
And
west.
he put his bucket right up next to the wire. In fact, his bucket was touching the wire when I drove up that day. And I got him stopped. And I called the county barn, and they come out there, and, well, the man, he was disgusted because he had dug a canal instead of just cleaning the ditch out. So for them ruining that and fixing it to where my fence would fall over, they give me a letter.
Has your fence fell over?
Over time.
Oh, it did fall over?
It finally fell over,
Oh,
yes.
okay.
Finally, I've just put a new fence up. So that's what I'm here about. I've talked. I've got other letters here about, and I've got a. Can I show you these pictures?
Yeah.
Okay. That's what they wound up digging there. It's 7 and 8 foot across that canal. You never seen a county ditch that wide.
Now, where's your fence at?
Well, it was
Right here?
it was right side of that.
Oh, right here.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. See it right there?
Oh, yeah, I see it on this picture, but not on this one. Okay.
Yeah.
That's where it normally would have been. There it is there, before they dug the ditch. Does it drain good now?
Oh, it drains good, yes, sir.
But
Yeah,
they
it's
got-
it's a big slope there, going
Yeah.
to Cox Creek.
Yeah, it falls to the creek
Big
down
fall.
there. Yeah.
And what they should have done at that time was,
How long is that ditch?
well, that part, see, my driveway to the creek is 500 feet, but that part there's probably about 300 foot, Jimmy. I've never actually measured it, but it's probably 300 foot. But,
There's the,
Steve's rode by there and seen it.
yeah,
And, but over the years, my fences fell over because, they pulled all the dirt away from the post, see?
yeah.
And the concrete that was in there, it's just leached out over the years, you know, from the hard rains and just kept leaning. So I put a new fence up, and I had actually moved further up on the pond dam to get away from that to where maybe this will stay there. And moved up about 14 or 15 inches further up on my pond dam. But have you seen a copy of this? Well, I'd like to go
I never seen the letter.
what the county guaranteed they'd do, and they've never done it.
April 4th, 94, Mr. Joe Pritchard. Roads personnel, authorities, rights and roads, we understand. Fence line was damaged.
Instead of putting rock down, they come in there and hydroseeded. They just sprayed that seed, you know, out of a hose. Well, in a
So the county never done nothing.
day or two, it come a flood and washed every bit of that to the creek.
Yeah.
And since then, they've done nothing. They put some few cross ties down there a time or two, and I knew that wasn't gonna work. If they'd have rocked it all the way, that would have probably held it, or either piped it. That would probably be the best, to just pipe it onto the creek. But, and they also put in there they would maintain it, mow it. Never done nothing.
Was that letter what never followed through with?
No, sir. No, sir. Absolutely not. And what I'm asking, I don't want to take up a lot of y'all's time. What I'm asking is that it be fixed and the county pay for my new fence that I've put up, because I wouldn't have had to put it up if it hadn't been for what they done to start with.
Yeah.
That's what I'm asking.
Okay, commissioners.
We need to get Mike up here to explain anything.
Oh,
Mike Brooks, we need to
Where's
get him
he
up
at?
here to explain anything.
where's he at?
Back here in the back.
Come in, Mike. This is yours. You wasn't, I don't think, you wasn't a man back Who was the road superintendent then?
Sir,
Tom?
Jimmy or Preston one.
Jimmy?
Preston.
Or Preston? Do you remember?
Preston.
It was Preston?
Yeah, and then Jimmy took over a few little while longer.
Well,
I
they
believe
both,
that's
they
right.
both deceased,
I believe
but that's besides that, the letter. All right.
Mr. Lee, how long has it been since that fence been put up, the new fence?
The new fence, it's been about 2 weeks.
Oh, okay.
Yes, sir. A little less than 2 weeks.
So based on the letter, the county was basically letting you know that they would take care of that, whatever it took to remedy that situation out there,
Yes, sir.
based on the letter.
Seems like we got to take care of it.
Mr. Burris, they said they would,
Should have been done back then, but
whatever,
today's today.
whatever it took to fix the problem, and they would maintain it and mow it, whatever come up to stop the erosion, but they never done that. And it's just kept eroding till it
Washing, yeah.
fence
So,
out.
so basically what you want is reimbursement for the.
For the new
New
fence.
fence.
And rock it or pipe it where that won't happen again.
So it don't erode the next fence,
Right,
because it's
sir.
What kind of fence did you have?
Chain link.
Chain.
Yes.
4 foot?
The first one was chain link. Yes, sir.
Who put it up?
I got Mr. Wright to order the wire
Yeah.
and the post.
Yeah.
And then I got a friend of mine to put it up that used to work with Mr. Wright. He's a good fence man, but I could get it done cheaper like that.
Yeah.
Good bit cheaper. Save about $1,700 by doing it that way.
And you're gonna pass that saving on us too, right?
Whatever it cost me, It was about $1,750 for the wire and the post, and he charged $500 labor.
Have you got an itemized bill?
Yes, sir. On the material, now I hadn't never got the board to write nothing out for the labor, but I can. It was
The wire-
$500.
The wire that was there, it wasn't no good.
It was rusty pretty bad, pretty rusty, yeah. But I'll donate that to the county if you want it. Yeah. You can have it if you want it, Steve.
What I need it for.
Well, I don't know, you was asking about it. It's pretty rusty. I would have been glad for it to stay there, but, you know, when it's falling over,
Well, if it had been addressed the day of that letter, it would have been fixed.
that's right. It wouldn't have never washed.
That's the issue. Should have been done, should have been addressed in 1974 or whatever.
94.
94.
Mr. Lee, did you think about coming to the commission before you put a new fence up and then expect to get paid for it?
I did.
Did you come up here and
No, sir. No, sir, I didn't come.
kind of hard for me to vote to pay somebody that's already done something and then want to get reimbursed? But I was commissioner for that area at that time, and I well remember the problem with the ditch. But to come back and put a fence up and then expect the taxpayers to pay for the fence is hard for me to do. Mr. Chairman, I would be willing to vote for whatever Mr. Moy recommends on this project. I'm not in a position to vote on anything right now.
You don't think the county, Mr. Pope, should have done something to prevent this?
Should have done what was in that letter.
Right.
Then.
If they'd have done what was in the letter, I
Right.
wouldn't have had to put a new fence up.
That's right.
Did
Exactly.
you notify the county that you was having problems with washing out?
Do what now?
Did you notify the county
I
that you was
did,
having problems?
I did, the road department, more times than one.
What was the result?
Nothing.
They're both of those men,
No.
both deceased.
It never do
Kind
nothing.
of hard to
about it.
ask a man that's deceased.
If they'd have done something about it, Mr. Pope, I wouldn't be here today talking about it. That's just the truth.
So basically what it was, when they dug the ditch out there, and then over time, it eroded to the point where it took the stability away from your fence.
That's right.
So I guess the only question I would have is, and I know you say you talked with, I guess whoever was over the road department at that time, but before you put the fence up, and I mean, like I said, hindsight's always 20/20, but if the manager would have known, say, well, look here, I'm gonna have to have a fence put up and then produce this letter, then at that time, we could have, I guess, made a decision really based on that letter, which it really doesn't change a whole lot of things, but at least we would have been privy to it.
Well, the fence was already there when I bought that place.
Right.
Yeah, I remember.
This particular fence was still up. Mr. Carl Gibbs put that fence up. And like I say, if it hadn't have been for the erosion over the years caused from pulling all the dirt away from it, then it would still be there.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that when you got ready to put up the new fence, if the manager, I don't guess you didn't know anything about it, did you, Scott?
But I think I do remember that. It's kind of weird. I was with Ware County back then, and I think I do remember this issue for some reason. I don't know why that sticks in my head, but.
So I guess the bottom line is that the county created a problem and it necessitated him having to get a fence over a period of time and put a new fence up. So basically he wants to be reimbursed for the cost of the fence.
Well, I got a price from TNT to just a contract price, they come out there and put it up, you just pay one price. But I got Mr. Wright to order the material, and then I got a friend of mine to put it up that used to work for him, that knows how to put up a fence, and saved a good bit like that, so.
How long did you say that was, Russ?
Well, the whole fence is, I think, right at 500 foot, Jimmy, about 480 feet, 490, something like that. I just say 500 foot, but it was, I think $1,750 for the material, and then $500 labor. Put it up. Yep.
Okay, Madam,
Would you be happy if we put some rock or chunks of cement up against the fence, keep it from washing out? I mean, if you don't fix the problem now, it's gonna wash out again, with what you're saying.
Right.
Well, he say he moved further back now.
I move further back, but it'll still wash over time.
oh, yeah,
Because it's on a slope, Mr. Burris. And,
like this.
I don't know if it would be better to pipe it. I was talking with a guy today, and he said that he works with the county, and he's aware of it, and he said it might be better to pipe that, So, I don't know, as long as it's fixed. I'm not asking the county to do it just a certain way to suit me. I'm just asking for it to be fixed. Well, the new fence won't fall over one
So
day.
there won't be a repeat.
Right.
But if you pipe it through there, all the water coming off your dam and the water coming off the road, it's gonna come right on top of the pipe. It's gonna wash it out, just like it did up in Bickley up there on, Vining Road.
Yeah. Well, people that is supposed to know about this, they can look at it and that can tell what it needs to be done, I would think. I'm not a pipe and a erosion expert, but I'd just like for it to be fixed, and I'd like the county to pay for this new fence that I've put up, because I wouldn't have done that if they'd have corrected this problem in the beginning.
Years ago.
Right. The county's had plenty of time to address this.
Did you ever come in front of the county commission with the problem?
I believe I did, Steve. I'll check with my wife, but I believe I did in the late 90s.
But I'm talking about the past 5, 6, 10 years when the erosion got so bad.
No.
No, that's the first I heard about it.
No. When you ask people and call the county barn and got a letter and can't get nobody to do nothing, after a while you kind of get disgusted.
If I get aggravated about saying, if I don't get any results right here, I'm gonna go right here with it.
Yeah.
Then go on up another notch.
Yeah. Well, I reckon that's the reason you're a commissioner and I'm not.
That's your words, not mine.
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Manager, let's look into this. Madam Attorney,
Okay.
dig up the old records.
Yeah.
Do
you know if there's a drainage easement in there? If the county has a drainage easement by chance?
I don't know,
Okay.
Mr. Moore.
Thank you. We'll look into it and get you an answer.
Could I get my
Question.
letter back?
Yes.
Sir?
It's right there.
Yeah, it's right there.
Okay.
Yeah, Mr.
Thank you for coming.
Wait a minute, Russ.
Hold on, just,
Got your pictures right there.
I got one question.
He's got-
Okay, on the replacement of the fence, do you feel like the county should pay 100% of that?
Yes.
Okay, I mean, because like I say, it was a fence that was had been there a while, but
Yeah, but if they
it'll still be there.
okay.
Mr. Lee,
Well, this
I'm sorry to interrupt. Would you mind if we get a copy of that letter real quick before you go?
No.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Like I say, the county road department man, what did y'all say his name was at that time?
Preston,
Yeah, he was before Jimmy.
That's right.
Okay.
Preston
Well,
Bell.
he was mighty aggravated about what that guy done. He told me, said, I didn't tell him to dig a canal. I told him to clean the ditch out. That was his word.
They should have been something done about it right then to
Well, that's what they gave me this letter,
Yeah,
But they didn't. They
that's
didn't
right.
follow up on it.
that's right. Follow through.
Yeah.
All right. Any more questions for Brother Russell? Thank you for coming. She'll get you that. paper
Okay,
back.
thank you.
Appreciate it. All right, let's see here. Item B, Mr. Manager.
We have one more. Speaker, Judge Bennett and Ms. Melba Fiveash.
All right.
I think if they're here. Yeah, there they are.
Take the podium.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think they're gonna do it here, I believe. Yeah. Oh, really? Oh.
If it's dealing with, hold on just,
It's dealing with
Madam,
pay.
hold on just, Madam, Attorney.
I'm not sure exactly what the topic of conversation is. Generally, if we are talking about a salary increase for the entirety of the offices, I believe we do need to be in public session. If we're gonna be talking specifically about individual personnel and merit increases based on performance, I do suggest we go into executive session individually for that, so.
I think we got some of both.
All right. Well, it certainly is y'all's, your preference on that. I think the total salary increases for the departments would not be a proper executive session topic. So I think we probably better start out here. And then if we want to thereafter meet individually with Judge Bennett and Ms. Fiveash, we could do that as part of a personnel executive session to discuss specific employees' performances.
Mr. Chairman, I don't want to be dealing with no one person's salary without us being in the executive session.
Oh, we're not
Okay.
gonna talk about salaries.
All right.
They're gonna present what they wanna say to us.
Well, the main thing that we're here for is the discrepancies in the pay for the employees in different departments and everything that's doing similar jobs or even more complex jobs. Because we've got people like in my office that are been here 6 years and are making, I won't name figures, but making a certain amount, and they hire somebody in another office and start them off at the same amount. And that's not a way to do anything. And we've been trying to get pay increase for our employee because of their qualifications. And we can't hire somebody to come in and do this job that they're doing without years of training to be able to learn that job, because there's so many facets in our probate doings that you've got to learn. And like Ashley that works for me, she has 4 years of probation experience prior to coming to work for me. And she helps me with the criminal histories on firearms license and all this stuff. And she's been in my office for 6 years, and they hire somebody in another office making the same thing that she is. It's not right. And we've already asked for a pay raise prior to the budget coming into effect, and it was denied. So we're trying to get it on par with what it should be. It's not that we're trying to, be just out there for to get a bunch of money. It's just that we want to bring it in line with what it should be, because they're very qualified for their jobs, and they're not getting paid for what their job entails, because they have to be sworn in just like a judge, or you have to be sworn in, they have to be sworn in to do their job, because they're clerks, and they deserve to make the money that they earn for doing their job. So that's where I'm at with it. And we compared the salaries of some of the other counties and the clerks with the counties that are comparable with ours. The clerks are making around $41,500 to $47,500 a year. That would be in Lowndes County and Tift County. And we're not asking for anything near that. The pay increase would be not quite $2 an hour for what we're asking for. So it's not that we're trying to go overboard with it, but you're going up from 3 pay grades is what you're doing. And I feel like it's a viable request, and I'm not gonna try to go any further. I think everyone knows what we're looking at. I gave you a copy of
the pay and what everything's on there, and what the comparables are with some of the other departments and everything, so it's all in there in the packet. So that's what I'll stick with that and let Miss Melba come on and talk to y'all.
And I have the same issue, and I've got a girl that is transferring to another department, making more. She's been with me 6 years, and so she'll be making more starting off in that other department than what she's making in my office. I don't want to lose anymore. I'm already 3 down, and I've got to hire some, and I've got to get some qualified people, not just people. And we got to do something about some of this. I work in the court system, and the court is a very vital, important part of this whole county. And everything that goes on in this county at some point in time comes through my office. So, you know, we're gonna have to do something about some of this, because I'm not, you know, I'm losing people. And, you know, and they don't make what even those are that just got hired over a year ago. So, yeah, we're gonna have to look at something, and we got to come up with a solution.
We're gonna have to deal with this and discuss this with y'all in executive session.
Okay.
That's what I was requesting, but the problem is, she's got to hire 3 people, and the people she's interviewing are not even looking at the job because of the salaries.
A lot of it, you know, I
The
can't.
qualified people.
I've already
So
had
you got
one
3
decline.
You got 3 positions.
I got 3
You
positions.
got 3 positions and budgeted for 3 positions.
I've got, oh yeah, they're budgeted.
But the
Yes.
salary,
Yes.
the hourly different.
Yes.
But,
Well, that's something we're gonna have to talk about in the executive session.
okay.
I've talked with Scott before on this, and I've talked with some of the
Yeah.
commissioners also.
We wanna do that,
What the
Mr.
issues
Manager,
are.
do we wanna do that at the end of this work session, or
It's up to the commission, whatever y'all decide to.
what y'all say, Commissioner?
Well, I would just say this right here, and like I say, I new kid on the block, but one thing I do know that, this is a touchy issue right here about the salaries and putting back on the former city commission hat. We had different pay grades and some consistency in the, pay grades. And this is something I mentioned to Scott, and I think we briefly talked about it, is to try to have some kind of consistent wage scale so that you won't have this issue where one department, because to be honest with you, a clerk in one department may be different, or perform different duties than a clerk in another department. So you're not really comparing apples to apples when you say, well, okay, a clerk's over here making this and the clerk over there, but you got to look at the whole totality of everything. And one thing that haven't been mentioned is that my understanding is when we went into the budget, it's not so much that we didn't want to grant the pay increases, it's just that right now we don't know what the future holds with the splash tax, you know, coming back up, and, you know, we didn't know about the revenues, how they would be coming in, and maybe Ms. Beverly might want to chime in on this, or Scott. So it was some unknown, so at that time, we really elected really not even doing the pay increases at all. We acquiesced to Tanya, I believe it was, because she had been promoted to deputy probate judge, and she had trained and all this, so we kind of acquiesced to do that, but the rest of them stayed the same, and we have other departments too that come in and want pay increases, and I can applaud each department head for coming in and championing for your people and, you know, speaking out for them, and that's good. But, you know, we still got to compare apples to apples, and like I say, you got 3 vacancies over there, and judge got one that maybe could move to another department, and a lot of it's not that much money, but it's just a matter of the consistency. If we start doing it for this department, then somebody else is gonna come up. So we need to be prepared for that, commissioners, you know. It's not going
to do that, but
Yeah.
you look at the dates on some of this stuff, and it was done just at the end of the year, or the beginning of just before the the new budget went into effect and all this stuff. And they were getting pay raises that, and The others that we requested did not, so that's what I was sort of pushing into, because we want everything to be where that my people are not applying in jobs in another department
Exactly.
with the county.
To get more money.
Exactly.
That's cause you got somebody that's hiring somebody for, say, $13 an hour. And my person has been there 6 years and she's only making $13 an hour. So somebody coming off the street's gonna make the same thing that she is.
Right.
And they
Yeah.
don't have to have the training, the qualifications, and all this other that she's got. That's not right.
And that's why I said we got to throw all that into the
You got
mix.
to
We
put
got to
that all
have
into,
consistency across the board.
Yeah,
Because
because that, see.
then it would
mine
eliminate
was
this right here.
6 years.
That way, when you come into it, you know that, you know, you're gonna have certain pay increases, merit increases, or however it's formulated, you know, and, I think this is gonna be the best approach, because if we don't, we're gonna continue to be going down this road, you know,
it's going downhill.
yeah.
Because
It
we can't
is.
hire people for
Right.
the jobs, like if I tried to hire somebody in her job that has the qualifications she's got, it'd be $16, $18 an hour. And the county don't wanna pay that, but the county could pay a little bit more to keep this person in that position that is already trained for it.
Well, I, like I said, I think that's something we need to look at as a commission, and once we do it, not only just your department and the clerk report, but all departments, because we had other people that put in for raises that wasn't that much, but, you know, again, they're championing or cheerleading for their employees, and they want to retain them, and a experience of our employee that's been there a long time is a valuable asset to not only a city or county, but to any organization, and you want to try to retain those people if you can.
And I know that the SPOS is a big issue right now, and I know that the county needs the SPOS very much, because if we don't have the SPOS, then the taxpayers are gonna be paying for all the equipment and all this stuff that we have to have. The salaries come out of the taxpayers' money anyway.
Yes.
So that's what we're looking at, and that's what I wanted
Then that's
to
property
make
tax.
clear.
Yeah.
That if, we know that the SPOS needs to be done, but we know that the county has to stand up and take care of their own employees.
Yes,
And that's where the problem is.
yeah.
They've been put on the back burner for too many years, and they do need to be taken care of.
And mine definitely have been on the back burner too long.
Okay. That's all, Mr. Chairman. I
I
have.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Judge Bennett, who determines, it was me, to your right,
Oh.
the other right. Who determines the starting pay for your office, in your office, Ms.
We
Mel?
have a base that was set up, actually come on, I guess,
Okay.
or before that, I'm not sure, but it was set up several years ago, and we talked about increasing it for several years, but then you've got somebody that hires on at the base salary, and it's swapped $11, $12 an hour, and other.
About 1167.
Yeah, 1167 now.
Yeah.
And you can't hire anybody with those qualifications now at that price. And I mean, just,
It's just the way life is.
Yeah.
and you know what I'm talking about, because I already talked to you about
Yeah,
it. But-
yeah.
But that's where we're at, and we're not trying to put y'all on the spot, but we're trying to take care of our employees.
Judge
Thank
Dan, step up here for me, I got something I wanna see if you can, are you familiar with that? I mean, you're asking for pay raises for your employees, big salaries, there's a picture of your new associate judge with her feet propped up on the desk, with notes that she's going to kill me. Finally planning, she's preparing for the relaxation weekend.
I don't know anything.
Thought I'd enlighten you a little bit on it.
Never saw it. Okay,
That's yours, you can have it, might wanna get an explanation for it.
okay.
But we wanna, Mr. Manager, is this something we need to address now, or we need some more study and let you do some more
well-
research?
Actually, to give the information, give you the information, and give the commission the information you would need, we would need to do a survey of the other like positions in the other probate judge and clerk of court offices to give you something to compare it to. So it would have to kind of go on a fact-finding mission to get those numbers, so that way you have something to look at. Yes, sir.
We'll come back at the next commission meeting.
Yes, sir.
First meeting in October.
Yes, sir. Sure can.
That'll give our manager, staff time to.
Okay, let,
Mr. Manager, who sets the pay scale?
We have an existing pay scale, and each and every time there's a COLA increase, that scale goes up. You got a step, you got a grade, you got a step. And those things have been set for, I think, for many, many years. And then it just gradually goes up with the COLA increases.
Yeah.
It was established by the University of Georgia system.
Yes, sir. Carl Vinson did it. Many years
County
ago.
commission spent big money to get this uniform.
This was back,
But it don't set salaries, it just
Yeah.
sets, it sets grades.
yeah.
Well, have we checked to see if we are up to date with the grades?
Well, what you have to do is you have to compare your positions, such as clerks and such, with those of other counties, like counties with size budgets and so forth. And then compare those salaries with what you have from that standpoint.
Well,
So
I
you
noticed
basically do it by position, basically.
Yes, sir. I noticed we brought up Lowndes County. We couldn't very well compare Ware County, which is 36,000 or better,
Yes, sir.
with Lowndes County, which is over 100,000. So
Revenue streams a lot different.
there would be an extreme difference in the classification because of the, maybe the workload or maybe the people in that particular position.
That's correct. Yes, sir.
So I'd just like to know that our scales are up to date, but that we're not using counties that are much more greater than ours, but some counties that are similar, comparable.
Yeah. And that's what you do. You basically, you base it on the population, size of the budget, and those kind of things.
let me split it. And
I was not saying that we expecting to be paid on the same level as Lowndes County or one of the others.
Yeah, I
We were
understand.
saying that this is the comparable.
Right.
And we're not asking for anything near that figure. And that's what I wanted to let you, make sure that you knew that. It's not that we're trying to go up even with them, because we know we can't do that. But we do need to be at the right level to where we can
Gotta be
hire
equitable.
employees. Okay?
this is why, again, at the sake of sound repetition, we need to compare apples to apples. And, again, I wanna reiterate, if we got employees that have been here a long time, they're a valuable asset to the county, to people that serve and everything, and I would like to see us get with Scott and whoever, and maybe revisit it with Carl Vinson Institute of Government to try to find out about these different step processes and whatever, because again, if we don't, we're gonna keep going back into this one making 20 cents more an hour and all this kind of stuff, but if you go into it and you know what you're already dealing with, it's a lot easier.
Right.
Because like I say, we got other departments that ask for increases in their employees' pay and we denied it, so, we just wanna be fair about it.
I think in the system, we're under university system, like clerks, got clerks ones, clerks twos, threes, am I correct?
Yes, sir. You have different grades, but
Yeah, different
to
grades.
go back to what Commissioner Bursch was mentioning, you could actually have Institute of Government do just those positions.
Right.
And that way they compare them and give you back that data, which is easier to break it down and do it in smaller allotments, so you can concentrate. Because, if you did the whole county, and we did this back in the 90s,
did.
it
I
was
remember that.
pushing $700,000-800,000 to try to make that adjustment. And it was just too much for the county to do then, so, yeah.
I'm just an employee. I remember the county couldn't afford it.
Yep, it was very,
It
they
sounded
gave us,
good for the employees, but where was the $800,000 plus dollars gonna come from?
right,
And Mr. Chairman, another thing too is whenever you start doing these comparables, like I say, you got to always factor in what that county, how their revenue stream is coming in.
Yeah, tell you.
'Cause some counties, they have their own, internet service, they got their own telephone, all this stuff, so they don't really rely on the tax base as much because they got alternative streams of revenue coming in, so that's something we need, like say, factor in the whole everything.
Right.
Okay, all minds clear on this? You can come back with us some
We will.
recommendations, Mr. Manager. All right, let's go to item A, Mr. Manager.
Okay, under tab A is a presentation by Mr. Perry Blackburn on the safety grant that we received.
Thank you, County Manager. Ware County has received or has been rewarded a safety grant from our local government risk management commissioners. The awarded grant is for $8,500. This grant is consists of many different things, and I'm gonna go over them with you briefly. We've been awarded the grant, which consists of hand sanitizer stations, which will be placed at various county locations, county buildings, such as the admin building, maybe the public works facility, the public safety admin building, places of such. We also have looked at first aid kits. Also, the biggest one that we're looking at is the washer and dryer for the fire department. And I know the question comes up, what you gonna do with a washer and dryer? Well, think about it.
I can tell you.
You've got firefighters and EMS personnel, public safety personnel.
I can tell you.
You've got cross-contamination. You've got the biggie now, you've got COVID-19. And this is stuff that you don't want to take back to your people at the fire station or the EMS facilities, or even take home to your family or friends. So this is a biggie. You can take your stuff and wash it and be done with it. So this is gonna benefit our EMS fire personnel. And Ms. Teresa Bailey, she's been helping me with this, and she's been a big asset to me, and she's been a blessing to me, because I've been hammered with a lot of this COVID-19 stuff recently through the state, and she's been a big help with me. But I'd like to also thank our safety committee. I'd like to thank you commissioners. I'd like to thank you, county manager. Y'all been a blessing to me. Y'all been a blessing to this county. And you've done a job that's been well done, and may God bless all of us and take care of us. Do you have any questions?
How much you say this grant was for?
$8,500. And it's,
And you
don't
don't have
cost
to
us
pay
a
that
penny.
back.
There's no match
No
or
matching or nothing.
No matching, no nothing. Don't cost us a penny.
Can't beat that.
No, sir, you can't.
So this is not the same as this health promotion and well-being grant, this is totally
No,
different.
sir, this is the safety grant.
Safety, okay, all right.
All right, any more questions for Perry?
I think that's a good use.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you
Thank
for your
y'all.
efforts. Thank you very much. All right, item B. Mr.
Okay,
Manager.
under tab B is request to reappoint Miss Linda Booker to the Department of Family and Children Services Board. Her term expired June the 30th, 2020, and she would like to be reappointed. There's a letter
I don't have
in
a
there.
problem.
No problem with me.
Yep.
You all right with Ms. Booker stay on?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Put that on our
Okay.
item C.
Okay, under tab C is request to renew the agreement, the right of entry agreement with Georgia Power for, to use the Trembling Earth Recreation Complex as a staging area during, weather storm emergencies. There's a copy of the existing agreement. It was a 5-year agreement, started in 14 and expired, and the second agreement is in there too, following the The existing agreement, or the one that just expired.
This would be a continuation of the existing agreement?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it, you know.
Yeah.
Y'all
In
okay with it?
this contract, you know, they're bringing in all these big trucks, if they tear up our asphalt roads going in and out of it, they gonna fix them? It don't say anything about that in the contract.
Yeah, it doesn't. We would definitely have to request that, which I don't think there would be a problem there.
I thought I read somewhere in there where they
Yeah.
would take care
Well,
of it.
they would, yeah, for any
it's in there.
reimbursables and damages and
Anything
those
they
kind
tear
of things.
up.
Yeah,
That's for the, like they did last time they was out, and I think they messed up a bunch of their dirt area and all of that's dirty. But I read his contracts through good, they don't say anything about the asphalt roads in there. You run 400 or 500 big trucks in, they gonna smash it down. Unless I missed it.
Or hit something. Yep. I can check on that if you want me to see if that's something we need to add.
Yeah, see if it'd be agreeable with them to put a clause
Okay.
in there to that effect. Cause I know, GEMA, you know, same with them, if they come in and bring in a bunch of big equipment. Just look for it. Let's ask Jonathan, he's the one to ask me, when it comes to FEMA equipment. What would happen, well, come on. What would happen if FEMA, I mean, if GEMA come in, we need a power, we need all this massive amount of GEMA equipment. Will they do the likewise?
I didn't hear the first part of the conversation.
Talking about if they tore up the
Damages, oh yeah, they would
Street.
be responsible for anything that they tore up, yes, sir.
Right, like on
Yeah, they-
Georgia Power, do a contract they wanna redo for us, you know, bring in stuff for storm.
Right.
What we're asking, if they mess up the roads coming in and out of the recreation department, all your ball diamond range, if they tear the roads up, are they gonna fix them roads in this contract?
Well, I don't know in their contract, it needs to be spelled out if they're willing to accept damages for the facility or for the property itself. I would think it needs to be part of that contract. But
Well, Mr. Chairman, if I'm reading this correctly, under item 6, it states that immediately following the conclusion of the staging area activities, DPC will at its sole expense replace the land disturbed by the staging and area activity and in conditions substantially the same as the conditions which existed prior to such activities.
but that would cover,
That'd cover it.
that covers them.
That's what it says.
Yeah,
And even gives a timeline within 48 hours that, you know, after the equipment is out there,
Right.
store it back like it's supposed to be.
correct. And the same would go for GEMA on their side
Yeah.
if they used the
Yeah, if
facility.
it what Georgia Power is just GEMA.
Yeah,
Be the
they
same.
would do the same. They would, repair or replace whatever had to be done. Generally, they come in and do an inspection before they take,
Because I think GEMA has first right to it.
That's right, yes.
Based on the
They have
contract.
first rights to it.
yes.
Okay, Commissioner, y'all okay with it like it is then?
I am.
No, sir, not if that clause is not in that contract.
Well,
It's,
it is.
is.
I believe we need
It
to
is
get
in
full
there.
clarification on it.
It's under item 6, I believe, Commissioner Burris had
I
said.
mean,
Shall undertake the activities.
There's unreasonable interference.
yeah, I think it's, seems like to me, I mean,
It kind of reads like they're gonna do their best not to damage anything.
right, and then they say that they gonna do it, if they do, they gonna restore it, so. it
Right,
seems like
yeah.
to me, it seems like it's crystal clear, but, maybe some mud in there
Okay.
somewhere, I don't know.
All right,
Thank you.
as long as we got it.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Okay, y'all okay with it?
I'll check on that and let y'all know.
Okay, so
Yes, sir.
we wanna hold off on,
Yep. If you'll I tell you what, if you'll make it contingent upon that, I'll run that by the county attorney, so they're aware, see what, make sure the
Okay.
verbiage is correct.
Commissioner, y'all understand?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Okay, all right. Everybody okay with that, contingent upon the manager and the county attorney?
Right.
Okay. All right, item D.
Okay, under tab D is a request to purchase lawnmower and a Polaris for the airport utilizing the CARES Act grant that we received of $69,000. The two of these together with the mower and the Polaris Ranger, Polaris Ranger is a total of $29,904.
That $69,000
Yes,
was
sir.
a grant received for the airport,
That's correct. Yes, sir. It's for the airport.
so it ain't costing us nothing.
That's
Well, it
correct.
is, and
Yes, sir.
we all pay,
Yep.
but it's a grant.
It is a grant. That is correct. And we have received it.
We have received it. I ain't got a problem with that. Commissioners?
What would this Polaris be used for? I mean, that sounds like a toy.
Primarily to move airplanes in and out. Yeah.
Let Bill explain.
It is not a toy. The Polaris is gonna be used to move aircraft. It has extra seats, so if you need to pick people on the ramp and take them to the terminal, pick up bags. So we gotta have something that's stored enough, when we push a plane in the hangar, you can see the nose tire on the aircraft. You got a certain turning radius that you gotta turn the plane. If you don't do it, you're gonna mess the nose wheel up,
And that's expensive.
and expensive. So you either do this, or we're gonna mess the plane up.
So what are you using now?
They brought me a pickup truck, and I tried to use it the other day, and you cannot see the nose tire.
That ain't no.
It took me about 30 minutes to get a plane in the hangar, because I had to do it very slowly.
Get
I couldn't see that
get
nose
the right
tire.
thing, if that's what it
Well,
takes.
aren't
that's what it
the
takes.
people that own the plane responsible for putting the planes in the hangar?
No,
They're not?
no.
Is that a
Y'all-
service by
That's a
the,
service by us that we take care of.
is that a service offered by the flight operator, FTO?
Yes, sir.
For us, there's 3 of us, and we all 3 are qualified to tow a plane and to put it in a hangar.
It looked like to me that'd be a big liability for the county, towing around $1 million plane, run inside the building with it.
No. No,
Not with the proper.
not with you people you
I'm
got
talking about
qualified
the
to know
county
what to
shouldn't
do.
even be in business even moving them planes and stuff, putting them in hangars.
If you got people qualified to
I
know
mean-
what they're doing, you're not gonna damage a plane. I've been doing it for many years, and the other guys have been doing it for many years.
Whose
They know what
plane
to
do y'all
do.
put in hangars?
I put Dr. Murphy's in the other day, and I've got
And
the
we
World
got
War
some
II
$20 million
plane.
jets that comes in there that needs to be housed.
Yeah, and I got the World War II planes coming the first week of November, and we had to help tow them down to the hangar. I gotta have something to do it with, something strong enough to pull them with. We had a golf cart. The golf cart blew the clutch up, and before we could get it, when we got it replaced, now the engine's gone, because it wasn't strong enough to do what we needed to do. It's not something we're gonna go out there and play around with, something we're gonna be using. Other airports have tugs. You wanna pay $23,000 for a used tug? This I get in a brand new Polaris with a 60-month warranty on it. Cover anything that happens to it. So we wanna do this, or we wanna do it the other way. With a piece of used equipment, you don't know what it's gonna be like.
Everybody needs to start it out there whenever I didn't have nothing, 0. Now they spend $14 million spent on that airport, and we got the service to people
That's
that
it.
uses it. I know, I got my experience.
Mr. Manager, does our liability insurance out there cover us moving airplanes around?
We have insurance
Airport insurance.
primarily on the airport. Yes, sir.
Just like I said, this is a grant and, something that they can utilize out there and, don't come around every day.
And they don't.
Right.
So on the lawnmower, y'all gonna do all the grass cutting down there now?
We cut around all the lights, and we got like 3 miles worth of lights to cut around. All the new signs, the AWAS, the windsock, takes you 5 or 6 hours to cut around it.
The grass around the terminal.
The contractor right now has been doing it, but if we can get a community service guy, and the weather's right and it doesn't get too wet, we can have them cut it too. But I need a community service guy.
Who will be running this new lawnmower?
The community service, what we'll be watching.
Community service is gonna get on an expensive lawnmower right there?
Well, they was cutting it before on a lawnmower. The one we used from the fire department.
Heard for 4 years that between the fire department and the airport, can't keep a lawnmower running.
Well,
Keeps getting, they keep getting torn up. Is
well,
there
I
any
mean,
kind of
you got a lot of area
supervision?
out there. The airport's got soil cement and grass, and it will beat you to death on a lawnmower.
They sure will.
And between the runways need cutting so bad right now, I had a plane land the other day, when he landed on runway 5, I couldn't even see him when he got down runway 5. The grass is so high.
Would y'all be cutting that?
No, we need
grass?
tractors out there to do that.
He's talking about 500 acres. They about 400 acres in that triangle.
That's it.
Since you mentioned about the mowers, I guess you recommended we go with the southeast mower?
Yes.
Okay.
The Skag.
But Waycross lawnmower was less, so I'm just wondering what's the,
Looks like it's a sturdier lawnmower, heavy duty. I'll let Barry look at it. He
Barry
agrees
come
with
up
me.
and explain it.
Yeah, Barry went and looked at it. Oh, we have it.
He's in charge of all the equipment.
That's right.
I compared this lawnmower here to the Toro, which the Toro's a good mower, but it actually was like 11,354, one equal to what he's getting from the Skag.
For 9,500.
For 95.
Yeah, for 9,500, which this Skaggs has come down since we bought the recreation department. It was like 11,000, no, it was 13,000.
Is that what you're using over there?
No, we got the Hustlers over there, which was, they around $11,000 for them. So the Skaggs is actually the best price.
Yeah.
now that's the one from southeast
Southeast,
mower,
yes, sir.
but the Waycross lawnmower is the Toro.
It's a Toro, yes, sir.
But you say you don't think it's as good of mower?
The lawnmower that's equal to this Skaggs over there is around $11,000.
Some of that Waycross lawnmower,
Comparable.
okay,
The one compared to the Skaggs.
Cause it's got a 32 horsepower motor on it.
Yeah.
okay, that's what I'm saying,
61
so,
inch cut. It's a bigger motor and it's a little bit wider.
okay, so the Skaggs has a bigger motor than the one at Waycross lawnmower.
And it's actually got a little thicker deck and all on
Okay,
it.
well, that's why I was just trying, I knew it had to be
That's
some,
why, there's nothing wrong with the Toro, it's a good mower.
Right.
But we try to do apples for apples.
Right,
Get them as close as we
but I
can.
knew it had to be some difference other than just the price, maybe a bigger motor, like say the deck structure or something like that.
So based on equal comparison, what is your recommendation for the best value for a lawnmower for their employees?
The Skaggs.
Okay, that's all I need.
Yeah.
Everybody okay with that?
Yeah, I've never traded with these Skag dealers here. I've always traded with the Skag dealer in Brunswick, but,
So you've had the experience with it?
I've had them for, about 19 years. And, the decks, the metal in the deck is a much tougher metal. It's not as soft as it is in these others. And I paid $10,600, I believe it was, for the one I got. It's a 61 inch. And then before that, I had a 48 inch. No, a 50, what is it, the 51 inch?
52.
54 inch, that's what it was. I had one of them, and I'd had it 9 years. And so I was down there having mine serviced. And I asked the man how long it would take. He said, well, I want to talk with you. And I said, well, okay, talk with me. He said, I'll give you $3,500 for that tractor right now, and it's 10 years old. And so I bought the new 61 inch, and I've never had any problems with it. And they recommended you run them wide open. So,
The Skag.
yeah.
All right, Commissioners, y'all okay? All right, Mr. Manager.
Okay.
Okay, let's go to item, well, that's it.
I thought that was.
6, commissioners' comments. Commissioner Pope?
Nothing this time, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Carter, got any comments?
No, sir, I've asked for a place to be clean, a ditch, and it's still not clean. I know everybody's busy, but after 2 years, it looks like we could get that ditch clean. And I'll ask you to talk with me after the meeting during our break about it. if you
Mr.
don't
Manager,
mind.
let you deal with that. All right, manager will deal with that.
Yes, sir. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be able to be here. I've had some bad problems lately, but God's still in the miracle business.
That's right.
And I'll tell you what, he's still in charge.
Yep. That's right.
If you don't believe it, just ask him. He'll prove it to you if you're not careful.
That's right. Commissioner Burris? No. Okay, I don't have anything. All right, Mr. Manager?
Just one thing, we got and I received an email from DNR, about, our interest in the boat ramp there over Satilla off of Highway 158. And I think I forwarded it to you this afternoon or this morning.
Yeah.
Saying that they would replace the boat ramp. The only issue is the county would have to agree to maintain it, pick up the trash and mow the grass down there if we decided to do it. And I just wanted to know what your thoughts are. Just keep in mind, we do not have any inmate detail to maintain. We really don't have enough to maintain what we have, much less start picking up other things too, so.
Well, there's a lot of folks don't know that we don't have
Yeah.
20 inmates anymore.
Right, and
So
you'll probably never get them again, more than
That's right.
likely.
This handwork's gone.
Yeah.
No canals to be cleaned out, ain't got nobody to do it. You know, you'd have to hire 20 people and that'd be expensive. I don't think.
Not
we're
unless you
prepared
private,
to
if you could.
digest that.
Yeah, you could privatize it. We're looking at advertising now, for right-of-way cleanup mowing and advertise to see what we get, but even that contract's gonna be extremely expensive to have your right-of-ways picked up and mowed, so.
And this the only way they would do the boat ramp, is that it'd be contingent on us agreeing to.
Right, we have to go in an agreement with them to provide the maintenance and operation, primarily just keeping it cleaned up, pick up the trash and mow the grass, and also have law enforcement to patrol it.
How big an area are we talking about?
I don't know right offhand as far as the size. I mean, it's not that terribly big, but it's just, trying to fit it in with everything else that we have to maintain.
It's about an acre down there.
Yeah. If we don't agree to do it, to maintain it, then what, it won't be a boat ramp there?
No, they just won't change it out. Yes, sir.
So it need to be changed out?
Well, the thing is they're looking at putting it in now. They said state funds would pay for it.
Yeah.
So there's to replace the existing one there, they would pay for all of it, the construction. We just have to agree to maintain it. Keep it clean, mow the grass, that kind of thing. Patrol it for law enforcement.
While we're looking at that, could we revisit the Blackshear Bridge ramp? I remember years ago, we tried, DOT wouldn't give a permit or something. Can we, while you're talking, Mr. Diener, can we look at that also?
Yep.
That thing needs to be cemented real bad.
Yeah, it's in bad shape most of the time.
While we do it, while we're into it.
Yeah, that one, I think Blackshear Bridge is probably used the most.
Yeah.
I mean, you get it from both sides from over there, so.
Blackshear Bridge boat ramp.
Okay.
Rebuilding the
Anything else?
That's it,
See if DNR.
that I have.
All right, we're supposed to have our regular meeting at 4 o'clock.
Can you give me about 6 minutes and I'll update the agenda by time?
Say 4:30,
Give me at about 4:25.
4:25?
Yes, sir.
4:30.
4:30.
All right.
Here,
I'll
4:35.
entertain a motion to adjourn the work session.
So move, Mr. Chair.
Got a motion and a second, all in favor by saying aye. Aye. All right, we'll adjourn again at 4:30. We'll be here about 10 minutes, 15 at most.